Chapter 10, Transportation in Animals and Plants. Introduction. How do you move from one place to another? How do various things like food, clothes, and medicines are available to you easily even though they are manufactured at distant places? Through transportation, of course. Transportation has connected the whole world. In a similar way, different systems in the bodies of living organisms are also connected by transportation. Without transfer of substances from one organ to another, functioning of the body will be impossible. In unicellular organisms, transportation of substances happens through the processes of diffusion and osmosis. Gases move in and out of the cell by diffusion, and other substances move by osmosis. Let us understand both these phenomena in detail. Diffusion. Diffusion is intermixing of particles of liquids and gases. In diffusion, two different liquids or gases or solutions can mix together till they have a uniform composition. In scientific words, the random motion of particles in order to attain equilibrium of concentration is known as diffusion. Diffusion can be observed in many aspects of our day-to-day life. You get to smell many things in a day: perfume, food, garbage, etc. All these smells reach your nose through diffusion. The gas particles which carry smell are produced by different substances. These particles spread in the air and reach your nose. Diffusion is maximum in gases and minimum in solids. Osmosis. In living organisms, transport of most substances takes place through osmosis. In osmosis, water moves from where it is present in larger amount to the region where it is present in lesser amount. This passage takes place through a special membrane called a semi-permeable membrane. It is called so because it allows only some type of particles to pass through it. Cell membrane and cellophane sheet are examples of semi-permeable membranes. Thus, we can define osmosis as the movement of water through a semi-permeable membrane from high water concentration to low water concentration is known as osmosis. Osmosis may be called as a type of diffusion. Cell membrane is a semi-permeable membrane. Substances move across the cell membrane because of osmosis. If you soak seeds or raisins in water, they will swell up. This happens because there is very little water inside the seed or raisin. When it is soaked in water, the amount of water around it is higher. Hence, water moves into the seed or raisin by osmosis and it swells.
Circulatory system in humans. Diffusion and osmosis can result in transportation of substances to short distances only. For bigger and complex organisms, there is a need of a more complex system for transportation of substances. In humans, this job is done by the circulatory system. The circulatory system in humans is composed of three main components, namely heart, blood vessels, and blood. Blood. Blood is a type of tissue which plays a very important role in the circulatory system. Blood works as the carrier of various substances. The main components of blood are blood cells, platelets, and plasma. Blood cells. There are two main kinds of blood cells in the human blood, namely red blood cells and white blood cells. A. Red blood cells or red blood corpuscles, RBC. These are in the shape of discs. They contain a pigment called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin binds with oxygen and thus is mainly responsible for the transportation of oxygen in the body. Hemoglobin also transports some amount of carbon dioxide. B. White blood cells or white blood corpuscles, WBC. These are present in various shapes. WBCs engulf foreign particles
and harmful microbes. Thus, WBCs help in fighting diseases. They make the immune system of the body.
Platelets. Platelets are fragments of cells responsible for clotting or coagulation of blood. In case of any injury, the blood clots after some time. This prevents excess loss of blood. Clotting of blood is a defense mechanism in the body. Plasma. Plasma makes the liquid part of the blood. It is pale in color and makes the largest part of blood. Blood vessels. Blood vessels are of three main types, namely arteries, veins and capillaries. Arteries. Arteries are made of thicker walls and they carry oxygenated blood from the heart to the different organs. Pulmonary artery is an exception because it carries deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs. Veins. Veins are made of thinner walls and they carry deoxygenated blood from different organs to the heart. Pulmonary vein is an exception because it carries oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart. Capillaries. These are fine branches of arteries and veins. Heart. The heart is a small muscular organ which is responsible for pumping the blood. The human heart has 4 chambers, namely the right auricle, the right ventricle, the left auricle and the left ventricle. The upper chambers are called auricle or atrium. The lower chambers are called ventricle. The following flowchart shows the movement of blood through the heart. The blue color shows deoxygenated blood or the venous circulation and the red color shows oxygenated blood or the arterial circulation. From the body, right atrium, right ventricle, pulmonary artery, lungs, pulmonary vein, left atrium, left ventricle to the body. Heartbeat. While pumping the blood, different chambers of the heart contract and relax in turns. The contraction and relaxation of different chambers produces a thumping sound. This sound can be heard as heartbeat. One heartbeat indicates one cycle of pumping action by all the 4 chambers. The heart of a normal human beats for 72 times in a minute. The heart pumps about 70 milliliter blood in one beat. This means that heart pumps about 5 liter blood in a minute. Pulse. At certain locations in the body, a pulse similar to heartbeat can be felt. This happens because of blood rushing in with every heartbeat. The pulse rate is same as the heart rate. Pulse can be felt near the wrist, neck, temples, ankle, etc. Stethoscope. This is a device which is used by doctors to listen to the heartbeat and pulse. Stethoscope is composed of a long rubber tube, 2 earpieces and a diaphragm. Excretion. In all living organism, various activities continue to take place inside the body. These activities are collectively known as metabolism. Many harmful substances are created during metabolic activities. These substances can prove lethal if not removed from the body in time. The process of removal of waste from the body is known as excretion. Excretory system in humans. The human excretory system is composed of a pair of kidneys, 2 tubes called ureter and a urinary bladder. Kidney. Kidneys are bean-shaped structures which work like filters. When blood containing waste materials enters the kidney, the waste is filtered from the blood and the purified blood is sent for the normal circulation. The waste along with water is transferred to the urinary bladder through the ureters. It is called urine. Urine contains 95% water, 2.5% urea and 2.5% other wastes. Urine is expelled out from time to time. In normal human beings, during the course of one day, that is 24 hours, we passes about 1 to 1.8 liter of urine. Type of waste and mode of excretion. Proteins contain nitrogen. Metabolism of proteins creates nitrogenous waste in the body. The nitrogenous waste is the main waste in animals. This waste takes different forms in different animals. These are ammonia, urea and uric acid. Based on the type of nitrogenous waste, the animals can be divided into following categories. Ammonotelic. Ammonia is the main nitrogenous waste in these animals. Lot of water is required for removal of ammonia. Ammonotelism is present in aquatic animals, example fish, frogs, etc. Ureotelic. Urea is the main nitrogenous waste in these animals. Less water is required for removal of urea. Ureotelism is present in mammals. Uricotelic. Uric acid is the main nitrogenous waste in these animals. Removal of uric acid requires negligible amount of water. Uricotelism is present in reptiles and aves. Some of the waste materials are removed along with sweat. Carbon dioxide is an important waste which is removed through the lungs. Transportation in plants. There are two main tissues, namely xylem and phloem, for the process of transportation in plants. These are composed of narrow tube-like structures. Xylem is responsible for transport of water, while phloem is responsible for transport of food. Plants take water from the soil. Following are the main steps in transport of water in plants. From soil, the water enters the root hairs by the process of osmosis. From root hairs, water moves to xylem. Various factors are responsible for the transportation of water through xylem in stems. The transport of water through xylem is known as ascent of sap. The process of movement of water includes the following steps. Root pressure is responsible for the rise of water to some height. Capillary action pushes the water further up. The rise of liquid in a very narrow tube is known as capillary action. Capillary action happens because of very small diameter of the tube. Adhesion, cohesion. Water molecules stick to each other and make a continuous column inside the xylem tubes. Transpiration pull. There are numerous small pores on the surface of leaves. These pores are called stomata. Water vapor is continuously removed through stomata during daytime. Removal of water vapor from leaves in plants is known as transpiration. This creates a pull in the underlying xylem tissues. This pull is called transpiration pull. Transpiration pull creates a suction effect on the water column inside the xylem. Food prepared in the leaves needs to be transported to different plant parts for use as storage. The transport of food takes place through phloem. It contains cells called sieve tubes, which transfer food from one part of plant to another. The food is transported in solution form, which is called phloem sap. Phloem sap moves from a sugar source, leaves, to a sugar sink, a part where food can be stored, like roots. This process is known as translocation. Translocation involves diffusion and osmosis. Some of the biological forces which are responsible for the transportation of food in plants are as follows. Random movement of particles in order to attain equilibrium of concentration is called diffusion. Movement of water through semi-permeable membrane from high water concentration to low water concentration is called osmosis. Transpiration. Transpiration is the process of water loss from the stomata, plural for stoma or leaf opening, in plant leaves. It also occurs in flowers, stems and roots. It is similar to evaporation. During transpiration, water vapor is released and carbon dioxide is taken in by the leaves. During night, in the absence of sunlight, the transpiration stops. In addition, the plant detects when too much water is lost. To prevent further water loss, the stomata close, effectively shutting down transpiration.